Hello and good evening.
Hi, and welcome to the Magnificent Abundance Manifester Live. So this is me coming back today as I promised, and this time our theme is about exponential growth. So if you want exponential growth in your life, I mean, we all want these quantum leap results and changes. However, the question is, are you ready to do or to make the corresponding quantum changes in your life? So the title is, do you want exponential growth, and this is what to expect. Hi Sherilyn, and welcome to tonight's live. So if you want to have that change in your life, it's not only a wish, you have to commit to whatever you need to do in order to create that change, right? So let me explain. So sorry, I'm using this new light to make sure that there is better lighting, but it's kind of gives me a little headache. Anyway, so the question is, are you ready to make that quantum shift within yourself? And this is where a lot of us, or a lot of you, can get slightly confused, because you want that result, but you didn't really consider or take into account what that really means in terms of your inner world. Like all of these things that then you need to change, all of these sudden changes in your life. Sometimes it might feel and seem like everything is collapsing. And why? It's because your older reality is being transmuted. It's going away to make space for what it is that you really want. And that can be scary. That can feel like turbulence. That can feel like, oh shit, actually the opposite of what I'm asking is happening. But is it really? No. This is a transitionary phase. This is temporary, where stuff gets rearranged. Let's say, I'm giving you an example. So when things are not exactly the way that you want, you might find some sort of alternative to make things work. And through the years, you get used to this uncomfortable situation, but it's better than before, and even though you're not really there where you want to be, you kind of get used to it. And then you get to the time where it is finally time to create that bigger space for your true self to show up, to create exactly what you want, and to dive into that new version of yourself. And that means the way you think, the way you behave, the way you talk to people, the way you stand up for yourself, the way you are holding your boundaries and make sure that you respect yourself, not allowing others to violate your boundaries anymore. This requires your input. It's not because you just decide that things are going to adjust. Yes, they will, but there is a part where you need to do your part. There is, it's yes, the reality will alter for you, but you need also to do your part. And this is that phase where a lot of people who go through personal development, or who go through coaching, or whatever it is, are sometimes a little shaken up by, because they thought, they got the coaching, they got the healing, so that's it. You know, things are going to happen now. Well, actually, no. You still need to adjust your inner world by also behaving differently. You need to embody that upgraded version of yourself so that it becomes now your new second nature. Okay? So if you have been someone who had, for example, self-esteem issues, let's say, you know, just as an example, and you have allowed a lot of people around you to just dictate to you what they feel you should do. So now you do this work, you get the healing, you take a course in self-confidence, but there is still that moment in time where you are going to be faced to this situation where you will have to speak up and say, no, I don't accept it. You are going to actually have to do it yourself, and it might come more naturally than before, but you still to do that step. Okay? So, alright, so I have a comment here that says some choices are painful even though they are for the good. Well, now, a very good comment. So my question to you is, why is that painful? When you put yourself first and when you heal yourself, why is it painful? Is it painful to stand up for yourself? Is it painful to actually say no? Of course, I understand what you mean. Of course, I know what you're referring to. But that means you're not, you're still in transition. Okay? The moment you are actually okay with standing up for yourself, and you're not carrying someone's tragedy, pain, because it's theirs to deal with, and you still have to enforce your boundaries, then you know that this is theirs to deal with, not yours. So it's no longer to be painful as much as before. Of course, you will understand what they're going through, but you're not going to take it on board. You're not going to carry it as a rucksack. You know, you're not going to make it yours, because this is not yours. So don't take people's crap, please. And if this is something that you haven't learned to do, then do the work, learn to do it. Alright, so because it looks like a loss, I know it will be okay, but it looks like the other is winning. No, this is the other. What do you mean the other is winning? When you're standing up for yourself, you are loving yourself. And I don't really understand what you mean. The loss in power, well, it's actually self-empowering to stand up for yourself, unless you're referring to something else. So learning to embody that new upgraded version of yourself is never a loss. It's actually a win. And if you can't see that, so there is some further work to be done. Okay, in NLP they will call it reframing. Okay, fine. But the reality is that okay, so you're talking about financial loss. Okay, so what has it to do with the fact that you're standing up for yourself? I think this is a particular situation that you're referring to. But what I'm talking about in this live is about when you embody that new version of yourself that doesn't allow what you used to allow before out of fear, out of low self-esteem, then you have to match that new vibration, that new energy. And when you want an exponential growth, you need to be ready to make exponential changes within yourself. Okay? And that is the most important thing. And wasting time on the details, it's about looking at the big picture. Where are you heading? What it is that you really want? What really matters at the end? These are the most important questions. And that is what you need to stick with, because if you get lost in these details, you're going to stay there in that maze for the rest of your life. And those who actually make that transition successfully are those who are focused on what they really want and they are going through it. And whatever they are going through, whatever they're doing, is helping them build that part of themselves that they are becoming. And this is something very important to understand. Okay? So, now, in terms of, can we have an exponential growth overnight? What do you think? So, yes and no. So, yes, because you can get in touch with the feeling of what it's going to be like and feel like once you have experienced that growth. Okay, and this is about tapping into these feelings. That's what visualization is for, and journaling is for, and all of these tools are for, which is about tapping into the energy that you really want to feel and experience, which is, let's call it your end result or end, ideal outcome. So now, but can that happen overnight? It all depends on you and how willing you are to let go of the resistance of what it is that has been in your way. If you are where you are, it's because you have had a set of a way of thinking, of behaving. Your energy has been influencing a lot in how your life has resulted into. So that means tremendous change. It's like, can we build a skyscraper overnight? Well, if we have, you still need to, I'm not a builder, but my understanding is, before you can build something on top of another, there is some stuff that needs to be, you have the foundation and then it needs to dry so that you can build on top. And if you do everything at once, I don't know if that's technically even possible. Right? So this is the same thing. If you do all of these changes, your body might not be able to cope energetically with all of this. So it's your ability to deal with the letting go and the newness of the life that you're embodying and all of that. It's all of this resistance that you've had. Now, we have to work through it. So yes, if you're someone who have done a lot of inner work and you've done a lot of, you're used to shift your state, your energy, you know how to navigate, it's going to happen extremely quickly if we identify the pain point, because you just need to remove whatever was kind of rotted and not healthy so that everything can be rearranged quickly. However, if you're someone you actually don't really feel like changing much, or you fear change and you're stuck in your ways, but you actually want it at the same time, so you're kind of torturing yourself here, and you don't know really what you want. One day you want something, the next day you actually change your mind. Woof! And there is like a lot of confusion here. Well, we need to work through that first. And that requires some time to stabilize, clear, empty, and put you in a better state. So everything will differ from one person to another based on what work they've done already on themselves, but also their ability to navigate through change and to be willing to take these steps. You know, if you're someone, you do one step forwards and then 3 steps backwards, and then you go on the side and you get lost, and well, I will be there by your side, obviously, if we work together. But if this is ingrained in you, we will have to get to the root of what created that behavioral pattern in you, what has made you that way, so that we can unroot it, heal it, so that you're not fidgeting anymore, but you're more focused. And then we're going to help you grow even more. So it's very different. Okay, let's take another case of someone who is actually super laser focused, but somehow there is still something missing and he doesn't know what it is. So when I work with you, and if you are that way, as soon as I identify it, you're going to fly. You know, it's going to be like skyrocket. So it all depends on you and the work that we do together and how accepting you are of what I am telling you. Well, actually, 100% of the time, the clients I work with are accepting of the work, because that's why they come to me, because they're ready. If someone comes to me and like, oh, you know, actually, I'm not sure. So I tell them, it's better for you to be sure before we start working, because I don't want to waste my time and I don't want to waste your time. Because I want results, and I'm committed to see that breakthrough, because that's what makes me happy, and that's what is driving my excitement of doing the work with my clients, right? So this is something to understand, so that you know that whatever pace you're going through when it comes to your exponential growth, it might be more exponential for someone than you, but there is a reason why. And it's not because you're unlucky, it's because there is a lot of resistance there that you haven't let go of. On the other hand, you might actually experience very quick growth by working with me, because you're ready, like you're more than ready, and you're ready to do what it takes. And I've seen it over and over again. The clients who have that profile, the results are mind-blowing. And I'm super excited to work with everybody, obviously. And I love seeing results, right? So this is it. So if you want exponential growth, what to expect? Expect being challenged. Expect having to do things very differently from what you used to. Because this is change. You know, growth. What is growth? It's doing something better, bigger, wider, deeper. It's expanding. And that means trying things you haven't. Going into a no man's land, because this is where you need to go next. And your little world that you created for yourself that made you feel safe for a while is going to be challenged, and you're going to feel like, oh my gosh. But that's okay, because it's part of the journey. So understand this, own it, as people say, and make sure that you are ready for what's to come. Okay? Again, it can change from one person to another. Some clients, they have no resistance whatsoever, and then everything is like magic, like smooth, silk. It's beautiful. If you don't have that, don't be sad. It's because there are stuff that needs to be worked through. So, whatever profile you are, you can change, you can have exponential growth, at the same time expect to do the work, the corresponding work that goes with it. Okay? Cool. All right, so on that note, I'm going to wish you a beautiful rest of the day for some of you, or night from some others, and I am going to leave you and love you. Mwah. And happy manifesting. And I will speak to you in my next video. Bye-bye. Unless someone has any other last question, I'm going to close the live. Okay? I'm going to answer that last thing. So, actually, I am caught between letting go of the current and understanding that things will be much better than now. So, what I am picking up here is stubbornness. It's you want things your way, but it's not. It's not being flexible and fluid. It's not having faith. It's not being trusting that actually something better is going to come out of it. Sometimes you wanted that crumb and you didn't get it. And you feel sad and you cry. And you're like, oh no, I really wanted that crumb. Because I was so hungry. But actually, you didn't get it. But what's coming is a Michelin star meal that's coming for you. That is actually going to be offered to you even. Gifted to you. That you didn't know was coming. But if you had got that crumb, that meal would have never come. So sometimes not getting what you thought you wanted is actually creating space for something bigger, better, and much more than you ever thought. So keep that in mind and continue your journey. That's what I wanted to say. Okay? All right, so that was don't cry for the crumb, okay? You deserve greatness, not crumbs. Perfect. All right, so again, have a good night, and I will speak to you in my next video. Bye-bye.